And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trade routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Market Forecast, Tuesday, February the 8th. John Hoagland here. Happy to be with you, and thanks for trusting me with your time. It was a kind of cool to meet JD, John Doherty, yesterday. I nicknamed him the Dancing Bear, but it was I watched it last night after I had a little dinner last night, and it was really cool to meet him. He's a great guy, and it was cool. Anyways, what did we learn about the markets today? Always more and more to learn about them. Checking out what they did, just kind of glazing over. We're going to go through the charts here shortly. Think about what we thought about this morning and see how things played out for us. Crude oil, our island top remains. The gap kind of remains. The previous gap low was resistance today. The previous balance area below was supportive today. Even the S&Ps and the NASDAQ, balance remains. Both markets have kind of broken out of a potential bull flag through attrition, not through momentum. We'll see how things closed out today. But where are the longer time frame traders is really kind of the question. Gold, we had a late spike yesterday that set the tone for the upside today. Volume was weak, though. See what the open interest looks like tomorrow. Euro bull flag forms as buyers kind of rest just under the weekly kickoff high. The 10-year price drags along the weekly kickoff low as we await more auction results. The 10-year auction tomorrow, so you're going to see how that plays out for us. 30-year auction on Thursday. Nat gas. Overseas tensions seem to have traders on edge. Decisions tough to come by. You're going to see it in the charts. Hopefully you've had a good trading day. I know it's been a challenging couple of weeks, I think, in the markets. I think so when there's change in the markets, it takes time for us to change our view and our ability to make those decisions. We're looking for new patterns now, and patterns we're not used to seeing. Makes it difficult. I've got some tea here I'm going to have a sip of. All right. So just kind of watching the news today, nothing wildly impactful seems to have happened today. Peloton CEO has stepped down. There's a new CEO at Peloton. It looks like they're going to be shearing a couple thousand jobs while they try and bring that company back to profitability. Harley Davidson stocks came out today early before the open. Pretty good results for them. And really not a big news day. NASDAQ up 1%. Dow climbs 370 points. As Wall Street shakes off a slow start to the week. We're all well aware of that, of course. So I got to say good afternoon. This is a really fun chat name. I got my trading buddy right here. Lacey's right here, if you can see her schnoz sticking up there. Powell, right in the kisser. What a great chat name. Can you review how you chart the weekly kickoff highs and lows? Well, it's kind of a process and something I keep proprietary to myself. I do put those out for other traders, and hopefully that they hopefully they're helpful for you. Sometimes they're as simple as a naked point of control that has remained unchecked for a period of time. Sometimes they're a lot more stop lazy. Sometimes they're a lot more complicated than that. There's technical analysis, there's some measured moves, there's some math, and some occasionally even reading some tea leaves. So it's again somewhat proprietary to me, and I'm happy to put them out. It would be kind of hard for me to explain how I come up with them sometimes, and hopefully they're very helpful. All right, we got Andrew Flores back at it. Just missed the pop in the S&Ps, but still a green day. Looks like we may have put perhaps almost a late spike into the S&Ps. We're going to see that in the charts very shortly. Otto, good evening. Eddie, good evening. Vince, good afternoon. Waiting for a funded account. Very glad I didn't have the option to trade today. Low positive expectancy for my system with this market behavior. Hey, Laura, it's nice to see you again. PD, agreeing with you, Otto. And Zareen, good afternoon. Always a pleasure to see everybody. Dan sends his fond regards. He's been busy working on other things with Top Step, so he's going to be stepping away from the market recap for a while. You're going to be stuck with me a little bit longer, it seems. I know we're all sad about that. But I enjoy being here, and I enjoy really trying to dig into and look through these markets. Devant, poking my head into the TPO chart rabbit hole. Would Top Step consider doing a video about it? Well, we did just do a video last week in the Trading Foundations, week 4. Day 2 was all about market profile, which is basically the TPO charts. Tomorrow, we have group coaching, and I'm more than happy to go through any questions that you might have about those charts. Hang on one second. I'm going to put a link in here so that you can... Well, I just did that, didn't I? No, I just messed up the link. Well, maybe if we have time at the end of this, we'll do that. So come to group coaching tomorrow. I will try and get you that link. Okay, it was the foundations that inspired you. So come to the group coaching tomorrow and start asking questions. Okay? Robert, I'm okay. You know, I'm not 100% yet. Scott saw and he succeeded. He conquered. Won't see me complain. Cheers, Andrew. Christopher, is this new? Oh, Otto, thank you. You're starting to feel better. I appreciate that. Christopher, no, this is not new. The recap has been going on, maybe a little bit less time than the forecast has been running. It's been a couple of years now we've been doing the recap. The forecast is on the same YouTube channel at 7:45 a.m. when we're looking at the markets and before the open and seeing what we're seeing, trying to put things in context and always thinking about risk management. So let me see if I can't find that link for you because I messed it up this time. Just give me 1 minute. Here it is. Here's the link to get into group coaching tomorrow. And I'll look forward to seeing you there. Any questions you have about the profiles, of course. Hello, Big Toast. Big Toasty. Good to see you. Chris. Good to knock the rust off. As an ex-trader, this is good. Excellent. Well, glad that you're here, Christopher. And see you tomorrow morning at 7:45 for the market forecast. All right, so let's jump into the charts here. Always nice to kind of sit back at the end of the day, have a cup of tea or an adult beverage if the mood takes itself there. This, however, is tea. I guarantee. Gotta get healthy again here. All right, let's go and check out the charts. And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context. That's not the charts. This is. All right, so this morning, looking at the E-mini S&Ps on the daily chart, we had an inkling that we may be able to push this market higher if we broke out above this channel here, which we're kind of looking at as a bull flag. It was holding that bull flag. We had we've seen that the market has been largely range bound for the last 3 sessions. So hang on a second here. So there's 2 things that we were contending with. The breakout to the upside and the range bound activity. The range bound activity seems to be giving us the resistance that the market is trying to get through with the breakout from the upside move, potential upside move out of the bull flag. Well, here's what we did. We were looking at the market, still largely range bound. We were looking at these lows here as potential support. Well, the market opened, looked down below them, rejected. We were looking at this area up here as an area of resistance, and that's where the market really tried to drive throughout the better part of the day. I mean, we had a pretty decent move to the upside, a pullback of approximately 50%, and then the continuation to the upside. We're still range bound. It's going to be very interesting to see how the volume was in New York. It wasn't all that great here. And to see if we brought any new business into the marketplace tomorrow by the way of open interest. NASDAQ. Well, here's the NASDAQ. We're just going to do this in this order now. So the NASDAQ kind of pushing the upper limits of this morning of the bull flag. Volume was low. Open interest was lower yesterday. Wasn't really thinking that we were going to see a huge move out of this because the market hasn't been bringing in open interest. The market seems to be seeking data. We know there's lots of uncertainties out here. Here's the 30-minute chart and how things played out. The value area trade played out perfectly in the S&Ps, and by the end of the day, it looks like it did in the NASDAQ as well. So here's the NASDAQ, really kind of opening above this trend line, which is kind of loosely placed, but through attrition, we seem to have pulled out above it, and we found support on it today in the regular trading hours. So the market opens, goes back into value, finds acceptance, trades to the other extreme of value, and maybe we're going to see a little bit of a late spike here at the end of the day. We're going to have to see that as later on, see if we actually pulled that off. I don't think that we necessarily closed it in a late spike, so that's going to look more like excess or rejection. We'll see that as we do our homework tonight and tomorrow. So here's the crude oil. News of a potential geopolitical relief, I should say, from the Russia-Ukraine situation. Apparently, France's Macron talked to him and seems to have calmed things down a little bit. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But a little bit of question as to, or is supply going to be tightening up, or is it going to be remain loose? Who knows what the heck is going to happen with that whole situation? All I know is that I hope that it's a peaceful and beneficial outcome for everybody. And the last thing anybody needs is bloodshed. So we'll just keep praying on that. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. So here's our island top, 2-day island top. We gapped up. We tried to close the gap, but weren't able to. We left a gap from yesterday's session to this session, and it remains unclosed. We were looking at this morning saying, okay, well, we're opening with a gap. If we find opportunities near a gap close or near this area of previous congestion, which is going to be presenting as demand, there's our opportunities. What does the market do? It opens, trades, doesn't close the gap, missed it by that much. Looks lower, trades right to this naked point of control, and then finds balance. This market is seeking information. We've got the API coming out at 3:30 today. We've got EIA coming out at 9:30 tomorrow, and who knows what's going to happen overnight. Gold. So we know we had the late spike. We have the market pushing, kind of continuing for 1, 2, 3, 4, our fifth point of contact on this trend line here. What appears to be a bear flag is proving to be something other than that. 30-minute chart. Opening in range. Here's our late spike. Here's that red line there is the base of the late spike. Opening in the late spike, not even checking the base of the late spike. The market pushing higher and doing what gold tends to do as soon as the move for the day is over, just kind of sitting here and waiting. So now what are we going to be focusing on tomorrow morning? What kind of volume, what kind of open interest did we bring into this? The volume isn't great. We're going to need to bring new business to continue this market move to the upside. If we had an increase in open interest, that's going to be healthier for the auction process. You have to see what they come up with tomorrow morning on the bulletin and watch the market forecast, and we'll see what it looks like. And the euro really just kind of resting, potentially putting a bull flag in. Okay, we've got the market moving opposite the most recent activity, cutting off volume. We know that the open interest wasn't all that tremendous. Well, actually, it was on Monday here. We added 8,600 in open interest. That almost seems like an aberration, but the market's still continuing to put in a narrow range opposite the most recent activity. Potential bull flag. Here's the 30. Here's our potential bull flag. Very narrow range today. Very narrow range. The market opened, closes the gap, rejects the gap, and just chops the rest of the day. Very difficult trading day for those that are looking for breakouts. This would have been an absolute nightmare of a day. So we'll be watching for. We know that the volume wasn't great. Was there any increase in open interest in this mess? Probably not. We were watching to see if we can get some sort of a breakout outside of the bull flag and look for another test of weekly kickoff high. The 10-year today really just dragging us down to weekly kickoff low and not moving. It was a tough day. Just dragging along that weekly kickoff low. This market is waiting for information. Tomorrow is the auction for the 10-year note. What is it going to provide? What kind of information are we going to get? We know that rates are going higher. The markets are already pricing that in, what's the auction going to be like tomorrow? What was the volume? Probably pretty low, I'd imagine. Yeah, a little better than yesterday, but still relatively low volume. Nat gas. So nat gas. Really just rejecting off that. Still looking for information. The hostilities overseas can certainly create an adjustment in any energy product relatively quickly. Take a look at the 30-minute chart, see if there's any hints here. Okay, we're still looking at an island top. Okay, pretty severe reversal pattern. No attempt really to go close that gap ever since. More gaps, naked points of control. Market really just dragging again along this weekly kickoff level. This market is sitting here like sitting on a tightrope or standing on it, whatever it is. One thing or another is likely to happen. It's going to fall off, or it's going to get picked up and go the other direction. We don't know when. We don't know how. We don't want to know how. We want to know when. How is volume today? Pretty low. It's using up its ability to facilitate trade. And what is the market's job? It's to facilitate trade. Price is going to have to move, and it's going to have to move pretty soon to bring new business into this market. All right. Okay. Just looking at under any other questions. Ginger tea is good for inflammation. Thank you, Otto. Going to be interesting to see how it reacts to the gap. Always interesting to see how markets react to the gap. All right. So I was looking at this day in history. I try and keep it positive. And there's only a couple of things on here. Jay Bergwanger picked the number one. He was the number one in the first NFL draft. He was the first Heisman Trophy winner in 1936. Was picked overall by the Philadelphia Eagles, but his rights were traded to the Chicago Bears. He never played professional football. He wanted his contract. He wanted too much. He became a rubber foam salesman. I think that's kind of strange. 1986. Some of you might even remember this. Spud Webb wins the slam dunk contest. Spud Webb was 5'7", and he won the dunk contest. I think he could jump pretty good. That's it. Nothing that fascinating in this day in music either. 1964, Louie Louie by the Kingsmen was put under FBI investigation for containing obscene lyrics. The song's publishers offered $1,000 to anyone who could definitively distinguish any dirty words, which nobody has been able to. 1973, Max Yasgur dies. If you know who Max Yasgur is, he owned the dairy farm in Bethel, New York, at which Woodstock was held. 1961, Vince Neil, the singer from Motley Crue, was born today. Happy birthday, Vince. Yeah, that's enough of that. Chris, I find the technicals on Top Step different from Bloomberg. Is there an area that gives a description of the technicals used on TS Trader? I'm not sure if there's an area that gives the descriptions of the technicals, but a technical tool should be relatively close no matter what platform. Joe, this is a good question. Okay. I have a platform that shows me regular trading hour delta in real time. Unfortunately, there is I don't know if there's you might check, Chris, the Tradeovate homepage to see if they have anything that definitive on their webpage. Here's one thing that might be of interest is the TS Trader platform. If you don't use a continuous chart, there's only so much data available, and that can change some of your moving averages. And I know that the Bollinger Bands are based on a moving average. Try it on a continuation chart. The continuation, let's say you want a continuation chart for the ES, it's the @ sign and then ES, and then you can see it. Try that. You can't change the standard deviations. That makes sense. I don't think that you can. Okay. All right, I got a couple of minutes here, Joe. I'm going to try and do this for you. Let's see if we can't see this. You had no sound. All right. Sorry about that. So let me try that again. I thought I hit the button and it did not. So this is crude oil, and this is the continuous cumulative delta. You can find it here under indicators. It's under volume based cumulative delta. So it's not going to give you a number. You're going to have to do a little bit of math. So what this is telling us is that on this 8 o'clock bar was trading right around 3,200 positive throughout the morning. We accumulated approximately 4,000 negative delta in the regular trading hours, because it went from about 3,200 down to about, let's call it 1,500. So a little more than 4,000 negative delta. But it's congruent with direction. Had aggressive sellers that were moving price lower. What we're looking for in this regard is when we see a divergence, when we see delta moving lower and price moving higher, tells us there's the evidence of potential longer time frame participation in the marketplace. So we get down to around negative 4,500 throughout the rest of the session. It comes back up. Now you can see bar by bar in the data box here. You see delta here. So if I hold the cursor here, well, this 30-minute bar has negative 2,400 in delta. Okay. So, monitoring by doing the math throughout the day is a bit of a pain in the butt. Visually, you're going to be able to see if there is a divergence. And you can always use this to help you calculate. I would just be calculating loosely, because it's going to be relatively obvious if you see delta diving and price rising. There's something wrong there. There's somebody that's creating an accumulation, that's creating that divergence. Sorry about missing the volume button here. There's always something. All right, Joe. Hopefully that helps. All right. I'm just going to call this a recap. Get some good rest. I know I am going to. I'm going to get to bed early and try and knock this cold out. Hope you had a great trading day. Hope we have another good trading day for you tomorrow. We will be back here tomorrow morning at 7:45. Have a wonderful evening. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Say a prayer for world peace, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Good night.